Alright, this is my second old school video. In the first video, I kind of showed off my initial impressions of old school, my first few goals, and that the very first thing I did on my account was rush the quest cape, and that I did achieve that in about 12 days of playtime. And I emphasize playtime because I guess there was some confusion where people must have thought that I had played just the last 12 days, and that's not my in-game time. It was in-game time that I was referring to, and that's, nearly 300 hours. So, I'm not sure why people are so surprised that you can achieve this much in 300 hours. It's a very long period of time, and I just kind of focused on achieving the goals. And, this game is very simple. You just keep clicking, and you see the numbers go up, and it's really as easy as that. So I'm not sure what the comments about botting and not sleeping were, but that definitely was amusing, and I thought I'd clear that up this time. That said, in this video, I did want to show off that I finished my base 70s and I got all my hard achievement diaries done, and that I will be working on the easy and medium combat achievements, and more specifically, the easy ones in this video. So starting with Bryophyta, this is the first time I've ever done this boss. It's going to be the first time I've done basically all of the bosses in this game, as I'm an RS3 player predominantly, so this is largely me just exploring the game, learning a lot of the differences, and just, playing for fun, really. So the first challenge is to do a free-to-play gear kill. Really nothing so difficult about that. Kind of went in blind a little bit. So the kill is definitely very slow. I tried to kind of combo a few achievements in there, but I did fumble around with some of the mechanics. I wasn't too sure about some of the mechanical telegraphs of the boss. So it just kind of, took me a couple kills to kind of understand everything. In the second kill there, I did re-gear with my better range gear, and I did try to position the growthlings to be kind of in a comfortable pattern so that I could easily click on them for the speed cutter challenge. Afterwards, I just AFK'd the rest of that kill with the serpentine helm and the blowpipe, and I just let the venom / the poison do the final hit of damage. And then the final challenge of Bryophyta is just the 5 kill count. Here, just a quick task to kill a demon with a Demon Bane weapon, so I just grabbed my Dark Light and went to the first place I could think of to kill a greater demon, and there we go. Afterwards, I moved on to the Deranged Archaeologist, where the first challenge is just to kill it with magic gear, and to dodge his special attack where he throws some books at you that explode and do a lot of damage. So very simple. When he says his line to telegraph it, you just walk away a few squares, and I found that no problem at all. Then the other two achievements here at Deranged Archaeologist are the 10 kill count and the 25 kill count for the medium combat achievements. So then a quick task over here with the giants. I thought this area was pretty cool. Got kind of the blue area, the green area, and the red area, but just kind of walked in and used my blowpipe, knocked them all down real quick there. Next, there was a challenge to get 10 King Black Dragon kill count, so I just did that. It was pretty AFK. Took a couple trips, but we got that done. No problem. Next boss is the Mr. Mammal Special. So I've actually been enjoying the Hardcore Farmers series while I make my own personal gains in old school. So again, similar to Bryophyta, the first challenge is to do it in free-to-play gear. And again, I kind of went in here blind. I wasn't too familiar with the mechanical telegraphs. Just kind of read the quick notes on the wiki. Thought that would be plenty, and turns out, it is. You don't really have to spend so much time watching guides. You can just kind of learn from your own experience. Finally, a couple of the other achievements are to kill the boss while he is entangled, and to kill the boss without taking a single melee swipe. So again, you just kind of do that by entangling him. I did fumble around with that challenge for the first 4 kills, but managed to get that on the 5th and final kill count that you need for the combat achievements. Next up is a perfect shaman kill. And not too familiar with this creature. It was sort of similar to a Ripper Demon on RS3, where it jumps up and does presumably a lot of damage. So just moved out of the way of that, and Blowpipe really kind of made that very, very simple. Alright, so Saritnis is where I first deviated a bit from my initial goal of just doing the easy and mediums. I actually knocked out all the Saritnis challenges, because I thought this boss was the first interesting boss. that I've experienced so far in Old School. I think that it's going to be kind of my first taste of what I'm expecting Old School PVM to be like in the future. You know, I think this is kind of that first glimpse of the importance of timely prayer flicks, of positioning, and, you know, kind of maximizing your damage in between some of the mechanics. So one thing that I thought was strange, as opposed to what I'm used to on RS3, is that it seems the timing for prayer flicks in this game is when the monster is casting its attack, as opposed to when the attack is hitting the player, the animation is hitting the player. What I mean by that is when you see the cast of his ranged attack, or when you see the cast of his arm swipe for his melee attack, is when you actually have to pray. Not necessarily that you have to switch the prayer in time for the ranged projectile to actually touch your character, or for his arms to actually touch your character. I do think I noticed a difference with this when I did my fire cape. Maybe Jad was on hit. You know, I wasn't actually paying that much attention, and you have such a big leeway, such a big window of time on Jad flicks that, you know, it didn't cross my mind at the time. But Saritnis is the first place where I noticed that it seems that the prayer flicking is noticeably different on Old School as opposed to RS3. Here I did get the achievement, the combat achievement for not taking any damage, so this was the perfect prayer flicks, and kind of found a nice little method here where, you know, you pray range as soon as you get stunned, and then you just kind of spam click on him, and once you see the cast of the range attack, then you walk back into melee distance and switch to pray melee. I found that very simple, and, you know, kind of extended my trips going further for the 25 kill count. I ended up starting to get like 4 to 5 kills per inventory, which was, you know, decent, I think, for my levels. Achievement for not taking 2 ranged hits in a row. So basically just, you know, getting back into melee distance quickly after the stun, because he's guaranteed to do that ranged attack, as I understand it. The last 2 bosses I had for completing the easy combat achievements were Temporos, the fishing skilling boss, and Barrows. And here at Temporos, the challenges were to put out a couple of fires in a single game, to fire the cannons from both sides of the map, and just to get 5 kill count. Personally, I didn't really enjoy this skilling boss. I found that 3-tick fishing and drift net fishing were much more interesting, just in terms of pure skilling. But some of the rewards from Temporos do seem worthwhile to grind for. Not to mention that if I want to do some of the hard and elite combat achievements in the future, I do believe I have to stay here for quite a bit longer to get the Spirit Angler outfit. Although, you know, I might be confused on that. I haven't looked too far ahead. You know, just kind of focusing on my easies and mediums right now. So the last boss I had to do was Barrows, and similar to Saritnis, I actually decided to knock out all of the Barrows related combat achievements. The first clip you're seeing here is the challenge to kill Carol only using special attack damage. This actually took a lot longer than I thought, even with, you know, kind of weird gear, but using Dragon Claw Spec and the Light Bearer to recharge my special attack quicker. Still took a long time of just waiting for Spec to regen. Next clip here is the easy task to get 10 kill count at Barrows. The next task I did was actually the hard achievement task to just do a Barrows run without using any prayer at all, and just kind of showing up to the crypt with 0 prayer points. So I just brought some sharks with me and, you know, managed to eat my way through that. No problem at all. The final achievement I did at Barrows was actually on my 25th run, so that knocked out that medium task, and this was the medium task to not take a single melee attack from any of the melee brothers, regardless of whether it does damage or not. You don't want them to touch you. So I thought this was a little bit difficult at first to kind of get an entangle off in a good time, but I found this technique where you can use the dragon spear to actually stun the brother and to push them back a tile, and then you can use that time to run around the opposite side of the coffin. They will kind of get stuck, at which point you can move backwards to the maximum cast distance, and then you can get ready to use your entangle or your freeze that way. I tried a lazy method where I just got a staff that could auto cast ancients, and this is actually where I learned that auto casting is 1 tick slower than casting from the actual spellbook. So that was something that this task taught me, and something that I'm sure will probably be useful in future achievements and future challenges going down the road from here. When I did finally complete this one, like I said, this was my 25th run, I actually did get my first ever Barrows drop. So that was a nice bit of dopamine, seeing the 2 medium achievements and that first Barrows drop here, the Thorax plate body. I doubt I'll ever go for the collection log here. You know, having double grave rubber title on RS3 is already plenty enough for me. All that said, we have finished the easy section of the combat achievements. Next time I'll be looking to finish the mediums and then starting to, you know, progress the account further and potentially go into the hards, elites, maybe even the masters and grandmasters. Who knows, you know? So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.